Welcome into the Gridiron Grind live post-game show. It's Cowboys dominate the Los Angeles Rams. Wasn't even close from the get-go. It's Creta 3 with the Gridiron Grind. Jimmy is not going to be able to make it with me today. Jimmy's feeling under the weather. I just spoke to him, and we did not want to put y'all through that. So his voice sounds like a Halloween character. It doesn't sound good. So anyway, Jimmy's not going to be with us today, which hopefully he gets to feeling better and can get back on the Gridiron Grind this week. But let's talk Cowboys-Rams. Cowboys defeat the Rams 43-20. Just another dominating performance. This team is now 5-2, and I think 4 of the 5 victories have just been where they've dominated. Going to be a good test next week. The Eagles on Sunday Night Football. Looks like the Eagles are going to hold on and beat Washington. Washington gave them a fight and had them lead early. Eagles are up a touchdown, and they're taking look like they're taking a knee, but actually going to hand it off for another touchdown. So the Eagles just went up 14. So the Eagles are going to beat Washington. So they'll move to 7-1. Cowboys right behind them at 5-2. And so we'll be battle for first place in the East next week. Looking forward to it. So get your questions in, and let's talk about this one. Huge win for the Cowboys as they defeat the Rams 43-20. Just dominated again on defense. Another defensive touchdown. I believe that was the Cowboys' 4th defensive touchdown on the season. Deron Bland had his 3rd pick 6 of the season. That was in the first quarter. We blocked a punt for a safety. Special teams, and then Turpin had a long run for a touchdown, or almost for a touchdown, just a long return. Special teams. This team has been excellent on special teams this season, and they continue to do so in a 43-20 victory over the Los Angeles Rams. Get your questions in, comment on the chat, and we'll start firing away on those. Let's go over the stats as we look. Dak Prescott, first 4-touchdown game of the season. Prescott was 25 of 31 for 304 yards, 4 touchdowns. Did have the 1 pick there in the red zone. Can't turn the ball over in the red zone. But he did look like they were running a mesh concept and had the tight end McEwen open. But it was bad at line of scrimmage and then intercepted. But 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Was sacked 3 times. I tell you what, opening drive had me worried that with Tyron Smith out, I didn't know if we're going to be able to protect Dak. And we did get a little lucky on that defensive call that extended that opening drive. Legal hands on the defense. I didn't agree with that call, but you know what? You'll take them when you can get them. And Cowboys did a good job after that, extending the drive and getting a touchdown. Pollard, 12 carries for 53 yards. Didn't get much in the running game. We did run for over 100 yards, 26 carry for 102 yards as a team. So that's nice getting to that 100-yard mark. But, Pollard just hadn't been as explosive lately. But teams are really starting to do a good job of around the box and on the line of scrimmage. And when you've been out with some linemen, it's hard to get some push in the run game. So, but Dak's got to step up, and today he did with 4 touchdowns. Receiving, CeeDee Lamb, have a day. CD's touchdowns, 12 catches for 158 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was targeted 14 times. So 12 catches on the 14 is very remarkable. 13.2 yard average for CD. Heck of a game. Brandon Cooks, nice game. 3 carries, 49 yards. He had added a touchdown. Jake Ferguson getting some production out of the tight ends. That was nice. 4 catches for 47 yards and a touchdown. Gallup had 2 for 20. All in all, again, it was 27 catches for the receiving core, 307 yards. We did have the 4 touchdowns. We look at the defense. Deron Bland, again, had the pick 6. That was phenomenal. He also led the team in tackles. He had 7 tackles and 2 pass breakups. Sacks, Michael Parsons had the huge sack. He also had 2 tackles for a loss. Our other sack was by Dorrance Armstrong. So the Cowboys with 2 sacks, 6 tackles for a loss. Just kind of a average day for this elite defense, only 2 sacks and 6 tackles for the loss. And that's great. We're at a place where this defense is so dominant that it's just ho-hum when they only get 2 sacks and 6 tackles for a loss. Again, Deron Bland, another interception for a touchdown. That was just huge. In the kicking game, Turpin had 2 kick returns for 88 yards. Averaging 44 yards return is pretty outstanding. Aubrey, 2 for 2 on field goals, so he continues to be clutch. And Anger had a nice day punting. He had 2 punts for 93 yards, averaging 46.5 yards on the punts. Get your question ins, and we'll get to them here on the Gridiron Grind live postgame show. Cowboys beat the Rams 43-20. Set up a huge NFC showdown with Philadelphia Eagles next week. That will be on Sunday night. It's in Philadelphia. So we got a question from Raymond Gabe Terrell. What does a win look like this do for Dak's confidence? You think it would only be great for him. I mean, he just lit it up for 4 touchdowns. I don't know how many 4 touchdown games he's had in his career. That's definitely his first one this season. I mean, he looked confident today. They talked about that. Olsen and Burkhardt talked about that in the broadcast, how in control and in command he looked. And I agreed with him that he felt comfortable. He felt confident, I think, when he was able to do this. And even though he had the interception, and that's been the knock on him, I don't think it was necessary. It was a good decision because the tight end was about to come open on the mesh concept. It just got tipped at the line of scrimmage. So I don't think that would affect his confidence at all. You just got to, figure out how to make that not happen in the red zone. But overall, I think it's got to be great for his confidence and getting rid of, people forget we have changed. This is a new offense. Mike McCarthy calls it the Texas Coast. And I think it's looked better the last couple of weeks compared to what it did previously. Like, it looked terrible against the 49ers. Of course, that's an elite defense. The first couple of games, we didn't really get to see it much because we dominated them so much on defense. So I think they are starting to find a groove on offense. I think this is what McCarthy is kind of looking for. We don't do a lot of shot plays, but when CeeDee Lamb can have that kind of game with 12 catches, 156 yards, a couple tutties, that's what this offense can be great. And then you can add in some of the running game. If we get some of these offensive linemen healthy, Dak keeps taking care of the football, making good decisions, hitting the open guys, scramble for the occasional first down. I think this offense is really finding their groove. All right, next question. Get to some more questions. They discussed trade deadline during the broadcast. Who would you like to see the Cowboys pick up during the NFL trade window, if anyone? A lot of people seem to be talking about Derrick Henry, running back for the Titans. I just don't know. I don't know how sold I am on that. Obviously, you would think he would probably help us down the stretch. It would be nice to have a talent like Derrick Henry. It depends on what you're willing to give up. I would not be willing to give up an important piece for Derrick Henry at this stage in his career. I just would. There's not a lot of, it's kind of shown. There's just not a lot of value in older running backs. And yeah, he'd be nice. It depended on what the deal would be. If I could be comfortable with the deal and I didn't have to give up a lot, heck yeah, I'd love to add Derrick Henry. But the problem is, I don't know what the Titans would want. I'm sure they'd want a draft pick. I'm definitely not giving up a first, and I probably wouldn't give up a second. If it was me, I don't know. Third round, I have to consider, I guess. I'd love to give up a 4th round for him, but I'm definitely not going to first, and I probably wouldn't give up a second. But everybody talks about Derrick Henry. I wouldn't mind having another receiver. I think if there was a big weapon out there, now I would give up a big weapon for, say, like a big time receiver, like the Eagles did last year with AJ Brown. If the Cowboys could do a deal like that, I'd be all for. Someone mentioned, I heard over the weekend, Patrick Surtain could be trade available for the Broncos. I would give up a first for Patrick Surtain. Absolutely. He's an elite corner. We do have, forget, we got Diggs, and then we got Bland, we got Gilmore, Jordan Lewis had some action today. So we do have a nice piece at corner, but just with that losing Diggs, if you could add someone like Surtain, I'd give up more for Surtain than I would, say, a Derrick Henry. And also, you just can't have enough pass rushers and defensive linemen. I don't know if any of those will be available, or a safety. If I had an opportunity, the Eagles just traded for a Pro Bowl safety from the Titans. So, the Eagles make a lot of good moves. And so I would very be willing to, a cornerback, a safety, a pass rusher. Absolutely. But Derrick Henry, everybody keeps talking about that. I wouldn't give up a lot for Derrick Henry. I just don't know how much he'd help our team. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he would help us a lot, but I don't see it a lot. All right, let's get to the next question from Madison. 8th 4-touchdown game of Dak's career, tied for second most in franchise history. Thank you, Mad Dog. Did not know that. So it's Dak's 8th 4-touchdown game of his career, which is second most. Romo had 10. Madison had. So Romo, I can see that. Romo threw the ball a lot. Romo had 10 4-touchdown games. Dak now with his 8th. So he's in second place, only 2 away from having Tyron Romo for the most 4-touchdown games in Cowboys history. Grayson Reels, I think we need the full injury report on Jimmy G. We need to know what happened to put him down. Listen, it might be one of those things we might not ever know. I got the full story from Jimmy. I believe Jimmy. But we, of us that know Jimmy knows that, sometimes Jimmy likes to have a good time. I don't know if that was the case. I know he did go down and watch the Ranger game. I don't know what all took place there, but I talked to him today, and yeah, he just doesn't. He has his voice does not sound good. It doesn't sound good at all. So he's on the IL on the DL right now. He is questionable for this week's podcast. We're going to official report is that he's day to day. How we'll find out the extent of how he got his voice injuries. I don't know if we'll ever know that. So it's a sickness. It is cold today here in North Texas for the first time. I couldn't tell you how long. I walked outside to feed my dog in shorts and t-shirt, and it was too cold for that. So nice to have that kind of weather. And maybe that plays a part. Allergies and changing weather sometimes affects your voice. Next question. Titans came out and said they aren't trading Derrick Henry. Well, there you go. So they're not even going to trade him. I know they mentioned it on the broadcast, and I'd heard it over the weekend, people talking about Derrick Henry. But if he's not even going to be available for trade, then you don't have to worry about it. I would like to see, I think Michael Irvin said it too, he would like to see the Cowboys be more aggressive at the trade deadline this year. And, of course, Jerry Jones came out with a statement, we don't want to have to rely on that, this and that. And I think he's just making a comment. I think I agree with Greg Olson. If the right deal comes available and he's able to jump on a trade, he's going to take it. It doesn't matter if he's got to rely on it or not. So I agree with Michael Irvin. I'd like to see him be aggressive. Let's go try to make a run at this thing. I mean, it's a big game next week. Got to play the Eagles. I mean, this team they're going to get in the playoffs. But as most Cowboy fans, I'm sure, agree, we're tired of just getting into the playoffs. We need to make a run at the Super Bowl. We need to at least make a run at the conference championship. We haven't been in the NFC championship game since 1995. So I think we got to do whatever we can to make a run at that and be aggressive at the trade deadline. And if we can add a player that helps us do that, by all means, we need to do it. So I'd like to see him do that as well. Grayson, will JJ go ahead and sell Tyron Smith to the circus and make some room for an offensive lineman that can actually play for us? It's got a good point. I mean, when Tyron Smith's in there, he's pretty phenomenal. But your best ability is your availability. And if you're not available to play, I mean, it doesn't matter how good you are. So I don't know. I don't know Tyron Smith's contract, but I got to imagine either he's going to retire pretty soon or the Cowboys, when that contract's up or as soon as they can, might have to start considering moving on, even though he is probably a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's been an elite left tackle. It's just he's just injured all the time now, and I don't know how much more tread he's got left on the tires. Another comment, I'm tired of Tyron Smith. Need a consistent left tackle. It might be one of those things, a little load management situation they do in basketball in the NBA. Maybe they're just kind of he's taking it easy, waiting for the playoffs. A lot of people say the season doesn't really start till Thanksgiving weekend. Well, maybe they're load management, getting him ready for the down stretch, the home stretch, make the playoffs. Maybe have a good run there. But, yeah, I tend to agree. I think Tyron Smith's career in Dallas is he's definitely on the back nine there. I don't know if he's going to retire or the Cowboys are going to move on, but he's just had a lot of injuries, and he's been doing it for a long time. Cowboys beat the Rams 43-20. That sets up next week the showdown. We play the Eagles It's our second division game. Beat the Giants to start the season. Now we go. Take on the Eagles in Philadelphia. Play on what they call at the Link. Sunday Night Football. The winner will be in possession of the NFC East. Cowboys are one game behind the Eagles. So if they defeat the Eagles, they'd be tied. 2 losses apiece. And Cowboys have the tiebreaker. So it's a huge game. It's in enemy territory down over at the Link. So it's going to be a fun one. I feel good about it. I feel a lot better than I did 2 weeks ago when we got stomped in San Francisco. So I think we got a good chance. The Eagles, I mean, they might be the best team in the NFC, but they're not playing great football right now. They're a good team, and they're finding ways to win. They did lose to the Jets, but they bounced back, beat the Dolphins last week. They had a tough one today against Washington, who always plays them tough, and Washington was ahead for a lot of that game. But Philadelphia, doing what they do, they find a way to win the game. And I am mistaken. It is not Sunday Night Football. It is a 3:25 game on Fox. I was just alerted to that. I don't know why I was thinking it was Sunday Night Football. It is 3:25 on Fox. Cowboys at the Eagles. It's a 3:25 game. Super excited for it, no matter when it's played. We'll be here with a live post-game show whenever Jimmy gets back. He should be back by next week. Like I said, Jimmy's on the DL. He's day-to-day. Questionable for our podcast. The college podcast comes out on Wednesday. Cowboys NFL podcast comes out on Thursday. And again, we'll have the live Cowboys post-game show next Sunday right after the Cowboys-Eagles game, which is at 3:25 on Fox. So right after that game's over, usually about 6:30, we'll jump on here and we'll all chop it up for dinner Sunday night. All right. Thanks for joining us. Cowboys defeat the Rams 43-20. Set up the showdown with the Eagles next Sunday. Thanks for joining us. Check out our website, Grindsports.com. We got blogs and all kinds of stuff going on over there, and has our podcast schedule as well. Podcast comes out Apple Podcasts and on our YouTube channel, Grind Sports. Give us a like, comment, subscribe, all that good jazz, and we'll keep rolling it out. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys later this week. Go Cowboys, 43-20 over the Rams.